ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर चॉसर टू द रेनासेंस। आज मैं 500 क्वेश्चंस लेकर के आई हूँ आप सबके सामने। इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, लास्ट टाइम रिवीजन करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। जो है PYQ क्वेश्चंस है इसमें। हु इज़ नोन एज द मॉर्निंग स्टार द रिफॉर्मेशन? ऑप्शन ए जोफ्री चासर, बी ऑप्शन जॉन वाइक्लिफ, सी ऑप्शन इज़ द विलियम लैंडलॉर्ड एंड फोर्थ इज़ द जॉन गॉवर। तो बी ऑप्शन इज़ द करेक्ट, जॉन वाइक्लिफ। In the Chaucer, the Canterbury tells how many pilgrims go on the journey. So option A 27, option B is the 29, option C is the 30, and option D is the 31. So option B is the correct, 29. Spencer the Fairy Queen was a plan to have 12 books, but how many were actually completed? So option A 5, option B is 6, option C is the 7, option D is the 8. So option B is the correct, 6. Which Shakespeare's play features the character Caliban? Option A Winter's Tale, option B Macbeth, option C is the Tempest, option D is the Othello. So option C is the correct, Tempest. The marriage of the true minds is a phrase from which Shakespearean sonnet? Option A sonnet 18, option B sonnet 73, option C sonnet 116, option D sonnet 130. So option C is the correct, sonnet 116. The 17th or 18th century. Next question is, John Milton's Areopagitica is a passionate speech defending what the right? Option A right to religious freedom, option B freedom of the press and speech, option C is the right to vote, and option D freedom from the taxations. So option B is the correct, freedom of the press and speech. Next question, who coined the term metaphysical poets? Option A John Dryden, option B Dr. Samuel Johnson, option C T.S. Eliot, option D Alexander Pope. So option B is the correct, Dr. Samuel Johnson. John Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel is a famous example of which literary genre? So option E pastoral elegy, option B mock heroic epic, option C political satire, option D comedy of a manners. Option C is the correct, political satire. Next question, which mock heroic poem by Alexander Pope features the characters Belinda and Baron? I will repeat this question. Which mock heroic poem by Alexander Pope features the characters Belinda and the Baron? So option A Dunciad, option B the Rape of the Lock, option C an essay on the man, option D epistle to Dr. Aberthorpe. So option B is the correct, the Rape of the Lock. Next question, who is the author of the famous picaresque novel Tom Jones? So option A Samuel Richardson, option B Henry Fielding, option C Tobias Smollett, and option D Lawrence Stern. So option B is the correct, Henry Fielding. Romantic and Victorian eras. The publication of which work in 1798 marks the official beginning of the Romantic movement? Option A the Prelude, option B lyrical ballads, option C songs of innocence, option D Prometheus Unbound. So option B is the correct, lyrical ballads. Next question, kids was a Greek is a famous statement made by which romantic poet? So option A William Wordsworth, option B P.V. Shelley, option C Lord Byron, option D Samuel Coleridge. So option B is the correct, P.V. Shelley. Next question, which Victorian poet wrote the famous dramatic monologue My Last Duchess? Option A Alfred Tennyson, option B Robert Browning, option C is the Matthew Arnold, option D Dante Gabriel Rossetti. So option B is the correct, Robert Browning. What is the central historical backdrop of a Charles Dickens novel A Tale of the Two Cities? Option A Industrial Revolution, option B is the French Revolution, option C the American War of Independence, option D in Napoleonic Wars. Option B is the correct, the French Revolution. Next question, the Thomas Hardy is a fictional region where the most of his major tragic novels are set is called what? Option A Malgudi, option B Lake District, option C is the Wessex, option D Yorkshire. So option C is the correct, Wessex. That is the regional, fictional region place. That is the Thomas Hardy has written all the novels. Next question, modern literature and literary criticism. T.S. Eliot's landmark modernist poem The Wasteland was published in which year? Option A 1920, option B is a 1922, option C is a 1925, option D is a 1930. So option B is the correct, 1922. Who introduced the concept of objective correlative in literary criticism? So objective correlative, that is a concept is given by the everyone is the T.S. Eliot, but option is already have given so many, so but you have read this. I will told that the answer is a directly T.S. Eliot. Objective correlative has a talk in that the tradition and individual talent. I think you just to check that and comment in my chat box. Okay. Next question, Samuel Beckett Waiting for Godot belongs to which dramatic movement? So that is the option A epic theatre, option B theatre of observed, option C is the kitchen sink realism, option D is the expressionist. So option B is the correct, is the theatre of the observed. Samuel Beckett is a Waiting for Godot had already have a very good work, and I think I should read that. I think you should read that this book Waiting for Godot. This is a very good and interesting book. Next question, American and Indian English literature. Which American poet wrote the iconic collection Lips of a Grass? So option A is the Robert Frost, option B is the Walt Whitman, and option C is the Emily Dickinson, option D is the Wallace Stevens. So option B is the correct, Walt Whitman. Who wrote the famous Indian English post-independence novel The Guide? So option A Mulk Raj Anand, option B Raja Rao, and option C R.K. Narayan, option D Khushwant Singh. So option C is the correct, R.K. Narayan. So these are the so many work. So next question is, Tennyson's famous poem In Memoriam was written in a memory of a which friend? Option A Edward King, option B Arthur Henry Hallam, option C Hugh Claw, and option D John Keats. So option B is the correct, Arthur Henry Hallam. Next question, which Victorian novel features the characters Heathcliff and Catherine Earnshaw? So option A John Eyre, option B is Wuthering Heights, option C is the Teenage of a Wildfell Hall, option D is a Billet. So option B is the correct, Wuthering Heights. Next question, who wrote the critical work Culture and Anarchy? Option A is Thomas Carlyle, option B John Ruskin, option C Matthew Arnold, option D is Walter Pater. So option C is the correct, Matthew Arnold. Next question, Mary Ann Evans wrote her famous Victorian novel under which male pseudonym? So option A is the Currer Bell, option B is the George Eliot, option C is the Axton Bell, and option D is the Lewis Carroll. So option B is the correct, is the George Eliot. Next question, which Charles Dickens' novel is widely considered his most autobiographical work? So option A is the Great Expectation, option B is the Bleak House, option C is the David Copperfield, option D is the Oliver Twist. So option C is the correct, David Copperfield. Next question is a Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, PRB, was found in 1848 by which poet painter? So option A is the Dante Gabriel Rossetti, option B is the William Morris, and option A is the Allegra Charles Swinburne, and option D is the Christina Rossetti. So option A is the Dante Gabriel Rossetti, that the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood has founded this group in 1848. Next question, which novel by Thomas Hardy caused such a public outcry over its scandalous theme that he stopped writing novels altogether? Option A Tales of the D'Urbervilles, option B is the Judge the Obscure, option C the Mayor of Canterbury, option D the Firm from the Medic Crowd. So option B is the correct, is the Judge the Obscure. Next question, the Sea of the Faith was wants to add the fool is a famous line from which poem? I will repeat that the same line. The sea of faith was wants to add the fool. Option A break break break, option B is the Dover Witch, option C is the Scholar Gypsy, option D is Ulysses. So option B is the correct, is the Dover Witch. Next question, who wrote the classic gothic novella The Strange Cause of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? So option A is the Bram Stoker, option B is the Robert Louis Stevenson, option C is the Wilkie Collins, option D is the D.H. Wells. So option B is the correct, is the Robert Louis Stevenson. Next question is which Victorian thinker coined the phrase the survival of the fittest? So option A is a Charles Darwin, option B is the Herbert Spencer, option C is Thomas Huxley, and option D is a John Stuart Mill. So option B is the correct, Herbert Spencer. Next question: who is the protagonist of a James Joyce, a foundational modernist novel Ulysses? So option A is Stephen Dadlus, option B is a Leopold Bloom, option C is a Molly Bloom, option D is a Gabriel Conroy. So option B is the correct, is a Leopold Bloom. Next question is a Virginia Woolf's novel The Lighthouse uses a which major modernist narrative technique? So option A picaresque narrative, option B stream of a consciousness, and option C is epistolary style, and option D is a magic realism. So option B is the correct, is a stream of a consciousness. Next question: which poet wrote the Second Coming containing the line things fall apart the center cannot hold? So option A T.S. Eliot, option B is the W.B. Yeats, option C is the Ezra Pound, option D is the W.H. Auden. So option B is the correct, is the W.B. Yeats. Next question: George Orwell's satirical allegorical novel Animal Farm target which historical political event? Option A French Revolution, option B is the Russian Revolution of 1917, option C is the rise of Nazi Germany, option D is the American Civil War. So option B is the correct, Russian Revolution of 1917. Next question: which play by T.S. Eliot is a vast drama depicting the assassination of a Archbishop Thomas Becket? Option A Family Reunion, option B Murder in the Cathedral, option C is the Cocktail Party, option D is the Rock. So option B is the correct, is the Murder in the Cathedral. Next question: who wrote the dystopian masterpiece Brave New World 1932? Option A George Orwell, option B is the Aldous Huxley, option C is the Ray Bradbury, option D is the H.G. Wells. So that is the correct, is the Aldous Huxley. Next question: the angry young man movement of the 1950s was kicked off by which landmark play? Option A is the Waiting for Godot, option B Look Back in Anger, and C option is the Birthday Party, option D is the Caretaker. So option B is the correct, is the Look Back in Anger. Next question: which post-war poet wrote the highly acclaimed collection The Hawk and the Rain and the poem Pike? Okay, option is A Philip Larkin, option B is a Ted Hughes, option C is the Seamus Heaney, and option D is the Tom Gunn. So option B is the correct, is Ted Hughes. Next question is a William Golding allegorical novel Lord of the Flies tracks a group of schoolboys stranded on an island. What is the name of the intellectual boy who wear the glasses? So option A is the giraffe, and option B is the Jack, and option C is the piggy, option D is the seaman. So option C is the correct, is the piggy. Next question: which theatre of the absurd play features only two characters, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, as is the central figure? So option A is the dumb waiter, option B is the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, and option C is the endgame, and option D is the bald soprano. So option B is the correct here. Next, American literature: which American transcendentalism wrote the famous essay Self-Reliance? Option A is Henry David Thoreau, option B is the Ralph Waldo Emerson, option C is the Nathaniel Hawthorne, and option D Walt Whitman. So option B is the correct, is the Ralph Waldo Emerson. Herman Melville's epic novel is a Moby Dick is narrated by which character? So option A is the Captain Ahab, option B is the Samuel, option C is the Starbuck, option D is the Queen Quake. So option is the B is the correct, is the Samuel. Next question: Arthur Miller's famous play The Crucible uses the 17th century Salem which trials as an allegory for what 20th century political event? So option is the Great Depression, option C B is the MC Carathism, Red Scars, option C is the Vietnam War, option D is the Civil Rights Movement. So option B is the correct, Red Scar. Next question. Good fences make good neighbors is a famous line from which Robert Frost poem. So option A is the road not taken. Option B is the mending wall. Option C is the stopping by woods on the snowy evening. And option D is the birches. So option B is the mending wall is the correct. Next question. Which novels own the Ernest Hemingway the Pulitzer Prize in 1953 and helped him win the Nobel Prize. So Pulitzer Prize he has option A is the A Farewell to Arms, option B For Whom the Bell Tolls, option C is The Old Man and the Sea, and option D is The Sun Also Rises. So option C is the correct Old Man and the Sea. And next question, who wrote the tragic masterpiece The Great Gatsby? Gatsby. Gatsby. I don't know what is the pronunciation of this. You can be as you wish which type of the pronunciation is this. That tragic masterpiece have written in the 1925. Option A William Faulkner, option B is the F.A. Scott Fitzgerald, and option C is the John Steinbeck. Option D is the Sinclair and Lewis. So option B is the F. Scott Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald. So that work is written by that person. Next question is Nathaniel Hawthorne. The Scarlet Letter it revolves around the Hester Prynne. What letter is she forced to wear on her clothing? Option A, option B is Ed, and option C is the S, option D is the E. So option A is the correct. Next question, which poem by Edgar Allan Poe feature a grief-stricken lover being tormented by a talking bird shouting, "Nevermore"? Option A, Albatross. Option B, The Raven. Option C is the Annabelle Lee. Option D, The Fall of the House of a User. So option B is The Raven is the correct. Next question, who is the protagonist of a J.D. Salinger's classic coming of age novel The Catcher in the Rye? So option A is the Huck Finn. Option B is the Holden Caulfield. Option C is the Tom Sawyer. Option D is the Nick Carraway. So option B is the correct is the Holden Caulfield. Next question is Langston Hughes was a leading figure of a which measure 1920s African American literary and artistic movement. Option A, the Beat Generation. Option C, the Harlem Renaissance. Option C, the Black Art Movements. Option D, Realism. So option B is the correct is the Harlem Renaissance. Next question is for which poetry collection did Rabindranath Tagore receive the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1930? So option A, the Crescent Moon. Option B is the Gitanjali. Option C is the Gardener. Option D, Fruit Gathering. So option B is the Gitanjali is the correct. Who wrote the famous 1935 novel Untouchable, focusing on a single day, the life of a Baka? Option A, Raja Rao. Option B is the R.K. Narayan. Option C, Mulk Rajanand. Option D, Babni Bhattacharya. So option C is the Mulk Rajanand is the correct. Next question, which Indian novel features the fictional South Indian town of a Malgudi? Option A, Kantapura. Option B, Swami and Friend. Option C, The Serpent and the Rope. And option D is the Coolie. So option B is the correct Swami and Friends. Next question, who is the author of a metaphysical Gandhian themed novel Kantapura in 1938? So option A, Mulk Raj Anand. Option B is the Raja Rao. Option C, R.K. Narayan. Option D, Khushwant Singh. So option B is the Raja Rao is the correct. Next question, which Indian English poet wrote the highly anthologized poem Night of the Scorpion? So option A, R.K. Ramanujan. Option B is the Nizam Ezekiel. Option C is the K.K. Daruwala. Option D is the Jayant Mahapatra. So option B is the Nizam Ezekiel. That is the correct answer. Next question, Kamala Das wrote her deeply personal confessional poetry in English and the prose. Her prose in a Malayalam under what the pseudonyms? So option A, Madhvi Vikuti. Option B is the Torudat. Option C, Sarojini Naidu. Option C, Lalit Thambika. So option A is the correct. Next question, which historical event forms the core backdrop of a Khushwant Singh's masterpiece Train to Pakistan? So option A is the 1857 revolt. Option B is the 1947 partition of India. Option C is the Quit India movement. Option D is Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So option B is the correct, the 1947 partition of India. Next question, who wrote the messy post-independence family epic A Suitable Boy? So option A is Amitabh Ghosh, option B Bikram Seth, option C is Salman Rushdie, option D is Kiran Desai. So option B is the Bikram Seth is the correct option. Next question, which play the Greece Karnad uses 14th century historical ruler to comment on the disillusionment of the Nehruvian era in India? So option A Havadan, option B is the Tughlaq, option C is the Naga Mandala, option D is the Fire and the Rain. So option B is the correct is Tughlaq. Next, who wrote the Booker Prize in 1997 for her duped novel The God of Small Things? Option A the Kiran Desai, option B Arundhati Roy, option C Anita Desai, option D is Jhumpa Lahari. So option B is the correct, Arundhati Roy. Next, a lyric poem of a 14 line using any of a number of a formal rhyme scheme is called option A ballad, option B is sonnet, option C is the ode, so option D is the elegy. So option B is the correct is sonnet. What term did Aristotle uses in his Poetic to describe the emotional puring and purification experienced by an audience at the end of the tragedy? So option A Hamartia, option B Catharsis, option C the Anagnorisis, option is the Perpetua. So option B is the Catharsis is the correct option. Next question, a certain powerful and transcendental moment of a realization and revelation experienced by a character is called a. So option A is the epiphany, option B is the aestheticism, and option C is the antithesis, option D is the allegory. So option A is the epiphany is the correct. Next question, what name is given to a stanza consisting of 8 lines of a iambic pentameter followed by 9th line of the iambic hexameter, an alexandrine? So option A octava rhyme, option B is the Shakespearean stanza, option C is the Tezra rhyme, option D rhyme roll. So option B is the correct is Shakespearean stanza. Next question, a novel that tracks the psychological, moral and social growth of a protagonist from youth to adulthood is known as. Option A picaresque novel, option B is the epistolary novel, option A is the Beld's groom man, and option D is a gothic novel. So option C is the correct is a Beld's groom man is that the correct answer. Next question, who coined the critical term negative capability and related to his brother? So option A William Wordsworth, option B is the John Keats, option C is C. Coleridge, option D P.B. Shelley. So option B is the correct is the John Keats. The next question is the crackly crunchy carrots is an example of a which literary devices? So option A is the metaphor, option B is the alliteration, option C personification, option D hyperbole. So option B is the correct alliteration. Next question, a narrative poem that tells a story traditionally structured in a 4-line stanza with ABCB rhyme scheme and meant to be a song is option A lyric, option B ballad, option C is the epic, option sonnet. Option B is the correct is ballad. Next question, what figure of speech is used to when inanimate object or abstract concept is given human attributes? So option A simile, option B is the personification, option C is the oxymoron, option D irony. So option B is the correct is a personification. Next is who introduced the concept of a gothic novel to English literature? Option A Mary Shelley, option B is the Horace Walpole, option B Bram Stoker, option D and Radcliffe. So option B is the correct is the Horace Walpole. Next question, who called poetry the mother of lies in his ideal commonwealth? Option A Aristotle, option B Plato, option C Longinus, option D Sir Philip Sidney. So option B is the correct is Plato. Next question is, in which treatise old Longinus introduced the concept of a sublime? So option A Poetics, option D Sorry, B, on the sublime. Option C, the ars poetica. Option D, an apology for a poetry. So option B is the correct, on the sublime. Next question. John Dryden's seminal work, an essay of a dramatic poesy, is written in what structural format? So option A, epistolary letters. Option B, a dialogue between four speakers. And option C, monologue. Option D, heroic couplets. So an essay of a dramatic poesy is a structure format is this, a dialogue between the four speakers. Next question. Who praised Shakespeare by saying he was the man who of all modern and perhaps ancient poets had the largest and most comprehensive soul? So option Ben Jonson, option B is the John Dryden, option C Dr. Samuel Johnson, option D Alexander Pope. So option B is the correct, is John Dryden. Next question. Wordsworth, the preface to Lyrical Ballads, describe the language of a poetry as a selection of a language rarely used by. Option A, kings and courtiers. Option B, men in a rural and humble life. Option C, classical scholars. Option D, intellectual critics. So option B is the correct, men in a rural and humble life. Next question. S.T. Coleridge split the creative imagination into two distinct categories: a primary imagination and option A, secondary imagination. Option B, tertiary imagination. Option C, fancy. Option D, aesthetic test. So option A is the correct, is secondary imagination. Next question. Matthew Arnold's famous system of evaluating poetry by comparing it against passages of a recognized classical masterpiece is called the. Option A, objective correlative. Option B, touchstone method. Option C is intentional fallacy. Option D, close reading. So option A, option B is the correct, is touchstones method. Next question. T.S. Eliot's landmark 1919 critical essay, Tradition and Individual Talent, advocates for which theory of a poetry? Option A, impersonal theory of a poetry. Option B is the expressionist theory of art. And option C is effective stylistics. Option D, romantic personalism. So option A is the correct, is impersonal theory of a poetry. Next question is the influential book Seven Types of Ambiguity 1930s was written by which major new critic? Option A, I. Richards. Option B, William Ibsen. Option C, Clint Brooks. Option D, John Crow Ransom. So option B is the correct, is Seven Types of Ambiguity in the 1930s is written by that the William Ibsen. So B is the correct. Next question. Which critical essay by W.K. Wimsatt and Monroe Beardsley argues that text meaning cannot be judged by the author's original goal? So option A, effective fallacy. Option B, intentional fallacy. Option C, death of the author. Option D, tradition, individual talent. So option B is the correct, is the intentional fallacy. Next question is which historical conflict served as the backdrop for a Shakespeare's history play Henry VI Richard III? So option A, 100 Years War. Option B is the War of the Roses. Option C, the Crusades. Option D, English Civil War. So option B is the correct, the Wars of the Roses. Next question. Life's but walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, is spoken by which tragic hero? So option A, Hamlet. Option B is the King Lear. Option C, Macbeth. Option D, Othello. So option C is the correct, is Macbeth. Next question. Who is a cynical and villainous mastermind who manipulates Othello into murdering Desdemona? So option A, Cassio. Option B, Iago. Option C, Rodrigo. Option D, Barabento. So option B is the Iago is the correct. Next question. Shakespeare's As You Like It is a primary example of a which dramatic subgenre? Option A problem play, option B pastoral comedy, option C satirical comedy, option D revenge tragedy. So option B is the correct, is pastoral comedy. Next question. In King Lear, which loyal daughter refuses to flatter her father in the opening scene? So option A Gonril, option B Regan, option C Cordelia, option D Portia. So that is a C option, is a Cordelia is the correct. Next question. Which Shakespearean comedy features the cross-dressing character Viola disguised as a cashier? So option A Merchant of Venice, option B Twelfth Night, option C Much Ado About Nothing, option D Taming of the Shrew. So option B is the correct, Twelfth Night. Next question. Shakespeare's narrative poem Venus and Adonis is a dedicated which royal patron? So option A Queen Elizabeth, option B King James first, option C the Henry Rathsley Earl of Southampton. So option D William Herbert and Earl of Pembroke. So option C is the correct here. Next question. What is the name of a famous theatre in the London closely linked to the Shakespeare's play company? Option A Rose, option B Swan, option C Globe, option D the theatre. So option C is the correct, Globe. Next question. Which play is widely classified as one of the Shakespeare's problem play? So option A Midsummer Night's Dream, option B Measure for Measure, option C Romeo and Juliet, option D The Tempest. So option B is the correct, Measure for Measure. Next question. In The Merchant of Venice, Portia delivers a famous courtroom monologue on the quality of a what? So option A Justice, option B Honor, option C Mercy, option D Truth. So option C is the correct, Mercy. Next question. In what specific dialect of Middle English did Geoffrey Chaucer write the Canterbury Tales? So option A Northern dialect, option B East Midland dialect, option C Southern dialect, option D West Midland dialect. So option B is the correct, East Midland dialect. Next question. Which pilgrim in Canterbury Tales has been married 5 times at the church door? So option A Prioress, option B wife of Bath, option C second nun, option D nun's prize. So option B is the correct, the wife of Bath. Next question. Chaucer's Book of a Duchess is a dream allegory written to commemorate the death of the wife of which noble? So option A King Edward III, option B John of a Gaunt, option C Richard II, option D Earl of a March. So option B is the correct, John of a Gaunt. Next question. Who wrote the massive Middle English alliterative poem Piers Plowman? So option A Geoffrey Chaucer, option B John Gower, option C William Landlord, D option Thomas Hackley. So option B is the correct, William Langlard. Langland. So William Langland. Next question is, which verse form did Chaucer introduce into English poetry in the Legend of a Good Woman? So option A the heroic couplet, option B Rhyme Royal, option C Shakespearean stanza, option D Treasure Rhyme. So option A is the heroic couplet is the correct. Next question is, how many tales did Chaucer originally plan for each pilgrim to tell in a total? 2 on the way and 2 on the return. So option A 2, option B is the 4, option C is the 3, and option D is the 5, as the B is the correct, is the 4. Next question. The character of a Madam Eglantine in the Canterbury Tales is a which pilgrim? So option A the prioress, option B wife of Bath, option C is the second nun, option D is the haberdasher. So option A is the correct, is the prioress. Next question. Which of Chaucer's work is a long narrative poem set during the siege of Troy? So option A House of Fame, option B Troilus and Cressida, option C the Parliament of Fowls, option D is Annelida and Arcite. So option B is the Troilus and Cressida, that is correct. Next question. Who is considered the first printer introduced the printing press to England in 1476? Printing Chaucer works. Option A Wynkyn T. Ward, and option B William Castles, option C John Ginsberg, and option D Nicholas Udall. So option B is the William Castles is the correct. Next question. Which text is a famous prose compilation of a Arthurian romance written by Sir Thomas Malory? Option A, Sir Gawain and Green Knight. Option B is a Lee Morton author. Option C is a Confessio Amantis. Option D, Owl and the Nightingale. So option B is the correct. Lee Morton author. Next question. Who wrote the classic Italian epic poem The Divine Comedy, consisting of Inferno and Purgatorio and Paradiso? So option A, Petrarch. Option B is the Boccaccio. Option C is the Dante Alighieri, and option D, Tasso. So option C is the correct. Next question. Chinua Achebe post-colonial Nigerian masterpiece The Things Up Fall Apart drives its title for poem which Irish author? So option A, Seamus Heaney. Option B, W.B. Yeats. Option C, James Joyce. Option D, Samuel Beckett. So option B is the W.B. Yeats. Next question. Which Russian author penned the classic 19th century realist novel War and Peace and Anna Karenina? So option A, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Option B, Leo Tolstoy. Option C, Anton Chekhov. Option D, Ivan Turgenev. So option B is the Leo Tolstoy is the correct. Next question. 100 Years of a Solitude, in definitive work of a magic realism, was written by which Colombian author? Option A, George Louis Borges. Option B, Garcia. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Option C, Pablo Neruda. Option D is Julio Cortázar. So option B is the correct. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So option B is the correct. Next question. Who is the author of a epic ancient Greek poems The Iliad and the Odyssey? Option A, Virgil. Option B is the Homer. Option C, Sophocles. Option D, Euripides. So option B is the Homer is the correct. Next question. Henrik Ibsen realistic play A Doll's House feature a female protagonist who challenges Victorian marriage expectations. What is her name? Option A, Hedda Gabler. Option B, Nora Helmer. Option C, Miss Julie. Option D, Christina Linde. So option B is the Nora Helmer. B option is correct. Next question. Which French philosopher coined the phrase existence precedes essence, becoming core tenet of existentialism? Option A, Albert Camus. Option B, Jean-Paul Sartre. Or option C, Simon de Beauvoir. Option D, Jacques Derrida. So option B is the correct. Next question. Who is the author of a iconic German tragic play Faust? So option A, Friedrich Schiller. Option B is John and Wolfgang von Goethe. C of Thomas Mann. Option D, Bertolt Brecht. So option B is the correct. John Wolfgang von Goethe. Next question. Which post-colonial thinker wrote the deeply influential text Orientalism 1978 and Culture and Imperialism? Option A, Franz Fanon. Option B, Homi Bhabha. Option C, Edward Said. Option D, Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. So option C is the correct, is Edward Said. Next question. Margaret Atwood, the author of the famous speculative feminist novel The Handmaid's Tale, belongs to which country? Option A, United States. Option B, Canada. Option C, Australia. Option D, United Kingdom. So option B is the correct, Canada. Next question. What the foot consists of an unstressed syllable followed the stressed syllable? Option A, trochee. Option B, iamb. Option C is the anapest. Option D, dactyl. So iamb is this correct. Next question. A sudden descent from the sublime and serious to ridiculous and commonplace in a sentence is known as? Option A, bathos. Option B, pathos. Option C, climax. Option D, paradox. So option A is the bathos is correct. Next question. The pen is a mightier than the sword contained which figure of speech? So synecdoche. And option B, metonymy. Option C, personification. Option C, D, oxymoron. So option B is the metonymy is the correct. Next question. What term describes the poetry that does not conform to any regular meter या rhyme scheme? So option A blank verse, option B free verse, option C heroic couplet, option D doggerel. So option B is the free verse is the correct. Next question, a statement that appears self-contradictory on the surface but reveals a deeper latent truth upon closer inspections is option A paradox, option B oxymoron, option C irony, option D option D is the hyperbole. Option A is the correct, paradox. Which poetic meter consists of a 5 metrical feet per line totaling 10 syllables in an unstressed stress pattern? So option A troic tetrameter, option B iambic pentameter, or option C anapistic trimeter, option D dactylic hexameter. So option B is the iambic pentameter. Next question, what figure of speech in an understatement used for emphasize typically by denying its opposite? Not bad at all. For example, not bad at all. Option A hyperbole, option B is a litotes, option C is the euphemism, option D apostrophe. So option B is the litos. Next question, a pause or break near the middle of a lines of a verse often marked by the punctuation is called option A enjambment, option B caesura, option D is a end stop line, option D refrain. So option B is the caesura. Next question, wild west wind, thou breath of the autumn's being, features which figure of speech? Option A hyperbole, option B is the apostrophe, option C simile, option D onomatopoeia. So option B is the correct, onomatopoeia. What name is given unrhymed iambic pentameter heavily used by Marlowe and Shakespeare? Option A free verse, option B blank verse, option C heroic couplet, option D ballad meter. Option B is the blank verse is correct. Next question.
Last question 138.
Which major culture and artistic movement began in the 14th century Italy and marked the transitions from the medieval period to modernity? Option A Enlightenment, option B Renaissance, option C Reformation, option D Romanticism. So option B is the Renaissance is correct. Next question, in what year did the British Parliament pass the first Reform Act, a major milestone during the transition into the Victorian era? So option A 1789, option B 1800, option C 1832, option D 1850. So option C is the correct, is the 1832. Next question, the pre-Raphaelite brotherhood sought to return to the detailed vibrant style of art before which famous Italian high Renaissance painter? Option A Leonardo da Vinci, option B Michelangelo, option C is the Raphael, option D Botticelli. So option C is the Raphael. This is the correct option. Next question is, which of philosophical and literary movement of the late 19th century championed the slogan art for art's sake? Art for, so option A realism, option B naturalism, option C is the aestheticism, option D modernism. So option C is the correct. Next question, the Beat Generation was a prominent post World War II American literary movement. Which writer authored its definitive novel On the Road? So option A Allen Ginsberg, option B the Jack Caruso, option C Williams S. Burroughs, option D Lawrence Ferling Getty. So option B is the correct. Next question, which intellectual movement of the 18th century emphasized reason, individual and skepticism of a traditional religious dogma? So option A the Enlightenment, option B Romanticism, option D Transcendentalism, option D Humanism. So option A is the Enlightenment is correct. Next question, the university wits were a group of the late century English playwrights educated at the Oxford and Cambridge. Who among the following was not a university wits? Option A Christopher Marlowe, option B Robert Greene, option C William Shakespeare, option D Thomas Ness. So option C is the William Shakespeare is the correct. Next question, which movement heavily influenced by Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis aimed to unlock the creative power of the unconscious mind using a bizarre imagery? So option A Dadaism, option B is the Surrealism, option C Cubism, option D Impressionism. So option B is the correct, Surrealism. Next Option B is the surrealism is correct. Next question. The Bloomsbury Group was an influenced 20th century circle of English writer, intellectuals and artists. Which author was a core member? So option A James Joyce, option B Virginia Woolf, option C is the T.S. Eliot, option B W.B. Yeats. So option B is the Virginia Woolf is the correct. Next question. Which standard historical event took a place in England in 1660, marking the return of a monarchy under King Charles II and the reopening of the theatres? So option A the Civil War, option B the Glorious Revolution, option C the Restoration, option D Commonwealth. Option C is the Restoration is correct. Next question. Identify the correct passive voice transformation. The chef prepared delicious meal. सो आप सबको पता ही है, फटाफट कर लेते हैं. डिलीशियस मील वॉज प्रिपेयर्ड बाय द शेफ. बी ऑप्शन इज करेक्ट. चूज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन से कंप्लीट द सेंटेंस. इफ ही डैश हार्डर ही वुड हैव अ पास द एग्जामिनेशन. तो ऑप्शन ए स्टडी, ऑप्शन बी इज द हैज स्टडी, ऑप्शन सी हैड स्टडी. सो ऑप्शन डी वुड स्टडी. सो ऑप्शन सी इज द करेक्ट, हैड स्टडी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. आइडेंटिफाई द पार्ट ऑफ स्पीच ऑफ द अंडरलाइन द वर्ड शी वॉकड फास्ट टू कैच द मॉर्निंग ट्रेन. So option A adjective, option B adverb, option C noun, option D preposition. Option B is the adverb is correct. Next question. Identify the correct indirect speech. He said to me, where are you going? Option A he said to me where I was going. Option B he asked me where I was going. Option B is the correct. Next question. Fill in the blank. The teacher was a highly offended. Dash is an insolent behavior. So option A offend के साथ हमेशा add का use होता है. Spot the grammatically correct sentence from the following. तो scarcely had I reached the station. So option C is the scarcely had I reached the station when the train is left. Okay. What is the antonyms of the word ephemeral? तो option antonyms is the ephemeral. Option B option is internal. What is the meaning of the idiom to burn the midnight oil? So option B is this to study or work late into the night. Choose the correct one word substitution. A person who hates the mankind. So menace, misanthrope. This is the B is correct. Phrasal verb. The meeting was dash due to the sudden illness of the chairman. So called off. This is the correct option. Next question. Who wrote the critical treatise A Defense of a Poetry 1821 as a direct response to the Thomas Love Peacock the Four Ages of a Poetry? Option A William Wordsworth, option B P.B. Shelley, option C John Keats, option D Lord Byron. So option B P.B. Shelley is correct. Next question. Which narrative poem by John Keats tells the supernatural story of a young man named Lorenzo and pot containing a lover served head? So option A Hyperion, option B Isabel, a part of a vessel, option C Lamia, option D Eve of Saint Agnes. So option C is the Lamia is correct. Next question. What is the title of a William Wordsworth massive deeply spiritual autobiographical poem published posthumously in 1850? So option A the Excursion, option B Prelude, option C Reliquis, option D Tintoretto. So option B is the Prelude is correct. Next question. Which major Victorian poet wrote the epic verse novel Aurora Leigh 1856? So option A Christina Rossetti, option B Eliza Barrett Browning, option C Matthew Arnold, option D Charlotte Bronte. Option B is the Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Next question. Tennyson famous poem The Charge of a Light Brigade's comrades disastrous military action during which 19th century war? Option A Napoleonic Wars, option B Crimean War, option C Boer War, and option D Opium War. So option B Crimean War is correct. Next question. Which poem by Matthew Arnold acts as a pastoral elegy mourning the untimely death of his close literary friend author Hugh Claw? So option A Dover Beach, option B Theresis, option C Scholar Gypsy, option D Soreb Rustam. So option B Theresis. Option B is the correct. Next question. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink is the iconic quote from which foundational romantic era poem? So option A Kubla Khan, option B is the rhyme of the ancient mariner, option C line written in early spring, option D Idiot Boy. So option B is the correct rhyme of the ancient mariner. Next question. Lord Byron's daughter Ada Lovelace is celebrated in history as being the world's first model. Option A novelist, option B computer programmer, option C landscape painter, option D classical musician. So option B is computer programmer. Next question, which volume of a poetry published in 1789 contained William Blake's iconic poem The Lamb? So option A, Songs of Innocence. B option, Songs of Experience. Option C, Marriage of a Heaven and Hell. Option D, Vision of the Daughters of the Albion. So option A is a Song of Innocence. Next question, Robert Browning is a universally celebrated for mastering and popularizing which specific poetic form? So option A, Italian sonnet. Option B, dramatic monologue. Option C, pastoral elegy. Option D, choric ode. So option B is dramatic monologue. Next question, which Irish author wrote the highly influential experimental modernist novel Figgins Wake 1939? Option A, Samuel Beckett. Option B, James Joyce. Option C, Flannery O'Connor. Option B, W. Yeats. So option B is the James Joyce is correct. Next question is, what is the center title of Virginia Woolf landmark feminist essay based on the lecture she delivered in New Hanham, Creighton College? So option A, three Guineas. Option A, Room of a One's Own. Option C, The Waves. Option D, Orlando. So option B is the A Room of a One's Own. Next question, Ian Foster's famous 1924 novel exploring the fractures of a British colonial rule in India is titled A Passage to India. Option A is the correct. Next question, who wrote the classic satirical dystopian novel 1984 which popularized terms like a Big Brother and Double Think? So option A, Aldous Huxley. Option B, George Orwell. Option C, Ray Bradbury. Option D, Anthony Burgess. So option B, George Orwell is correct. Next question, which contemporary British author won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2017 and is best known for his novel The Remains of the Day? Option A, Salman Rushdie. Option B, Kuzo Ishiguro. Option C, Ian MC Wayne. Option D, Julian Barnes. So option B, Kuzo Ishiguro. Next question, Joseph Conrad's dark modernist novella Heart of Darkness features a central journey down which major African river? Option A, Nile River. Option B, Congo River. Option C, Zambezi River. Option D, Niger River. So option B, Congo River is correct. Who wrote the complex post-colonial novel Midnight Children, which won the Booker's Prize? So option A, Amitav Ghosh. Option B, Salman Rushdie. Option C, V.S. Naipaul. Option D, Arundhati Roy. So option B, Salman Rushdie. Next question, which American writer wrote The Sound and Fury, heavily utilizing complex stream of a conscious timeless? So option A, Ernest Hemingway. Option B, William Faulkner. Option C, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Or option D, John Steinbeck. So option B, William Faulkner. Next question, what is the name of a totalitarian regime that controls society in Margaret Atwood's dystopian novel The Handmaid's Tale? So option A, Oceania. Option B, Republic of Gilead. Option C, World State. Option D, Panem. So option B, the Republic of Gilead. Next question, which foundational Nigerian author wrote the African trilogy starting with The Things Fall Apart and followed by No Longer at Ease? So option A, Hosunika. Option B, Chinua Achebe. Option C, Ben Okri. Option D, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. As like you check the pronunciation, I don't know. Option B, Chinua Achebe, this is correct. Next question, from which language family does the English language directly originate? So option A, Romance languages. Option B, Germanic languages. Option C, Celtic languages. Option D, Slavic languages. So B is the Germanic languages is correct. Next question, which historical event in the year 1064 Norman conquest brought massive French linguistic influence into Old English? So option A, Battle of the Hastings. Option B is the Battle of Waterloo. Option C is signing of a Magna Carta. Option D, the Hundred Years' War. Option A, the Battle of the Hastings is the correct. Next question, what major structure of phonetic change in the pronunciation of an English long vowel occurred between the 1400 and 1700? So option A, the Great Vowel Shift. Option B, Greenman laws. And option C, Vernon's law. And option D, I mutation. So option A, the Great Vowel Shift. Next question, who wrote the first standard structural dictionary of English language printed in America 1828? So option A Samuel Johnson, option B Noah Webster, option C Lindley Murray, and option D Joseph Worcester. So option B Webster is correct. Next question, which historical ruler is celebrated for translating several Latin philosophical texts into Old English West Saxon to educate his people? I will repeat this question. Which historical ruler is celebrated for translating several Latin philosophical texts into in Old English? So option A King Arthur, option B King Alfred the Great, and the C option King William I, and D option King Henry VIII. So option B King Alfred the Great. Next question, the vocabulary of a modern English related to law, government, luxury, cuisines, cuisine and fashion comes heavily from a which source? So option A Old Norse, and option B Norman French, option C Celtic, option D Arabic. So option B Norman French. Next question, what the name is given to the earliest historical form of English language spoken from the mid 5th century to mid 11th century? So option A Old English Anglo-Saxon, option B Middle English, option C early modern English, option D Celtic English. So option A Old English, that is also called the Anglo-Saxon. Next question is, which historical text is considered the oldest surviving long epic poem written in Old English? The option A Wanderer, option B Beowulf, option C is the Sea Fur, and option D is the Judith. So option B is the Beowulf. Everyone knows that. The next question, the pronoun forms they, them, and they were the borrowed into English from which invading language group? So option A Latin, option B Old Norse and Scandinavian, option C Norman French, option D Anglo-Norman. So option B Old Norse. Next question, who is widely known as the father of English prose for historical translation and executions of the Anglo-Saxon chronicles? So option A Geoffrey Chaucer, option B King Alfred the Great, option C Venerable Bede, option D is John Wycliffe. So the father of English prose is the historical translator Anglo-Saxon, so the King Alfred the Great. Next question. दिस इज़ 201, मतलब 201 क्वेश्चंस आपके कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं सारे। आप देख सकते हैं सारे प्रीवियस के नेट JRF और DSSB KVS NVS GIC जो भी पेपर में क्वेश्चंस बने हैं टॉपिक वाइज आपके GIC के लिए, या फिर आप नेट की तैयारी कर रहे हैं तो नेट के लिए भी बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है। और ये प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चंस है जो कि आपके इस 6-7-8 साल के अंदर के सारे क्वेश्चंस को ले लिए हैं, जैसे कि आपके प्रिपरेशन में ये कभी ना हो कि ये प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चन से पूछा गया सवाल था मैं पढ़ के नहीं आई। तो ये 1.5-2 घंटे की वीडियोस होगी जिसको आप हाई स्पीड में करके आप 1-1.5 घंटे में ख़त्म कर सकते हैं। बहुत मैंने ज़्यादा टाइम वेस्ट नहीं किया है, एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया है, बस क्वेश्चंस आपके सामने प्रेजेंट करने की कोशिश की है, दैट्स इट। Which Swiss linguist is universally recognized as the founder of the modern structural linguistics with his course in a general linguistics? Option A Jacques Derrida, option B Ferdinand de Saussure, option C Michael Foucault, option D Ronald Barthes. So option B Ferdinand de Saussure. Next question, Jacques Derrida officially introduced the philosophy of a deconstructions to American Academy in 1966 paper delivered at Johns Hopkins University. What was its title? So option A of a grammatology, option B structure, sign and play in the discourse of the human science, option C is the writing and differences, option D death of the author. So option B is the correct, the structure, sign and play in the discourse of the human science. Next question, which French cultural critic wrote the radical 1967 essay The Death of the Author, separating the text from its creator? Option A Michael Foucault, option B Ronald Barthes, option C is Jacques Lucan, and option D Jean Baudrillard. So option B, Ronald Barthes is the correct. Is next question. Who coined the post-colonial concept of a mimicry and hybridity? And in his highly influential book, The Location of a Culture. Option A, Edward Said. Option B, Homi Ke Bhabha. Option C, the Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. Option D, Franz Fanon. So option B, Homi Ke Bhabha. This is the correct. Next question. Ellen Soter's landmark a feminist text, a literature of their own, divides the history of a women's writing into three distinct phases: feminine, feminist, and option A, radical, a radical female. Option C, post feminist. Option D, liberalist. Option B is the correct. Next question. Which Marxist culture critic is famous for authoring the influential books, The Keywords and Culture and Society? Option A, Louis Althusser. Option B, Raymond Williams. Option C, Terry Eagleton. Option D, Walter Benjamin. So option B, Raymond Williams. Next question. Who introduced the psychoanalytic concept of the mirror stage and the splitting of a human consciousness into the imaginary, symbolic, and real? So option A, Sigmund Freud. Option B, Carl Jung. Option C, Jacques Lacan. Or option D, Salvador Zizek. So option C is the Jacques Lacan. Option C is the correct. Next question. The term eco-criticism, focusing on the interaction of a literature and the physical environment, was first coined by which scholar in 1978? Option A, Lawrence Buell. Option B, Cyril Glotfelty. Option C, William Ruckert. And option D, Jonathan Bett. So option B, Cyril Glotfelty. Next question. Which structural critic wrote The Mad Woman in the Attic 1979? A definitive text examine 19th century women's literature. Option A, Sandra Gilbert and Susan Gober. Option B, Lewis Erigari. Option C, Helen Cassius. Option D, Judith Butler. So option A, Sandra Gilbert, Susan Gober. Next question. What the critical term was coined by the Stephen Greenblatt to define his approach to analyzing the literature within its historical and political networks? Option A, culture materialism. Option B, new historicism. Option C, structural hermeneutics. Option D, reader response criticism. So option B, new historicism. Next question. Who is widely considered the first Indian poet to publish a volume of poetry in English? So the Sire and Other Poems 1830s. Option A, Toru Dutt. Option B, Kasi Prasad Ghosh. Option C, Henry Louis Vivian Dorsey. Option D, Michael Madhusudan Dutt. So option B, Kasi Prasad Ghosh. Next question. Harry Louis Vivian Dorsey was the leading radical intellectual spirit behind which famous 19th century socio-culture youth movement in Bengal? Option A, Brahmo Samaj. Option B, Young Bengal movement. Option C, Pratna Samaj. Option D, Arya Samaj. So option B, Young Bengal movement. Next question. Which famous Indian woman poet, often called the Nightingale of India, authored the collection The Golden Threshold and The Bird of a Time? Option A, Toru Dutt. Option B, Sarojini Naidu. Option C, Kamala Das. Option D, Anita Desai. So option B, Sarojini Naidu. Next question. Toru Dutt's beautiful, frequently authorized poem Our Causarina Tree is structurally written in which classical poetic form? Option A, blank verse. Option A, 11 lines stanza with the strict rhyme scheme. Option C, free verse. Option D, Shakespearean stanza. Option A, 11 lines stanza with the strict rhyme scheme. Next question. What is the central historical backdrop of a Michael Madhusudan Dutt's epic? Madhusudan Dutt's epic narrative blank verse poem The Captivated Lady 1849. So option A, Battle of Plassey. Option B, the story of Prithvi Raj Chauhan and Samyukt. So option B is the correct. Next question. Sri Aurobindo massive philosophical epic poem Savitri is heavily written in which metrical format? Option A, heroic couplet. Option B, blank verse. Option C, free verse. Option D, Tezra rhyme. So option B, black verse was correct. Next, Nazim Ezekiel, highly influential figure in a post-independence Indian English poetry, belong to which religious minority community in India? So option A, Parsi. Option B, Bene Israel Jebus. Option C, Anglo-Indian. Option D, Syrian Christian. So option B, Bene Israel Jebus. That is correct. Next question, which Indian English poet wrote the widely praised collection The Striders 1966 and was also world-renowned translator of a classic Kannada, and Tamil literature? Option A, Jayant Mahapatra. Option B, A.K. Ramanujan. Option C, Dom Morris. Option D, K.K.N. Daruwala. So option A, A.K. Ramanujan. Next question, who is the first Indian poet writing in English to win the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for Poetry Relationship 1981? Option A, Nizim Ezekiel. Option B, Jayant Mahapatra. Option C, Giv Patel. Option D, Arun Kolekar. So option B, Jayant Mahapatra. Next question is, uh, Arun Kolekar's masterpiece poetry collection Jury 1976, which won the Commonwealth Poetry Prize, revolves around the pilgrims to temple dedicated to which deed? So option A, Vithoba. Option B, Khanedova. Option C, Siva, and option D, Ganesha. So Khandoba. This is a B option is the correct. Next question, which historical work is universally celebrated as the first true regular English comedy written around 1553 by Nicholas Udall? So option A, Gammer Needle. Option B, Rolf Royster Doster. Option C, Spanish Tragedy. Option D, Old Babes Tale. So option B, Ralph Royster Doster is the correct. Next question, who wrote the Governor 1561, widely recognized as the earliest English tragic drama written in a blank verse? Option A, Christopher Marlowe and Thomas Gade. Option B, Thomas Sackville and Thomas Norton. Option C, John Lely and George Peele. And option D, Robert Greene and Thomas Lowes. So option C, John Lely and Thomas Sackville and Thomas Norton. Next question, Thomas Gates, a highly influenced play, the Spanish tragedy, popularized with a specific subgenre of a drama on the Elizabethan stage? Option A, domestic tragedy. Option B, revenge tragedy. Option C, romantic comedy. Option D, chronicle play. So option B, revenge tragedy. Next question, which historical figure is the main character of in a Christopher Marlowe tragic play Edward II? Option A, fictional king. Option B, the medieval English monarch Edward II. And option C, a Roman genre. Option D, a mythical French prince. So option B, medieval English monarch Edward II. Next question, what is the name of the German scholar who sells his soul to Lucifer for 24 years of a absolute knowledge and a magical power in a Marlowe's masterpiece? Option A, Barbarous. Option B, Dr. Faustus. Option C, Tamberlin. Option D, Mephistopheles. So option B, Dr. Faustus. B is the correct. Next question, John Baptiste's classic Jacobean tragedy, The Duchess of Amalfi, features a sinister twin brother who tortures and destroys the Duchess. What is the name? Option A, Basola. Option B, Ferdinand. Option C, Cardinal. Option D, Antonio. So option B is the Ferdinand is correct. Next question, which Jacobean playwright wrote the dark satirical city comedy A Chest Made in Cheapside? Option A, Ben Jonson. Option B, Thomas Middleton. Option C, John Marston. Option D, Thomas Dekker. So option B, Thomas Middleton is correct. Next question, who wrote the pastoral romance Arcadia, a highly influential prose work dedicated to his sister, the Countess of Pembroke? So option A, Edmund Spenser. Option B, Sir Philip Sidney. Option C, John Lilly. Option D, Walter Raleigh. So option B, Sir Philip Sidney. Next question is, John Lilly is a famous courtly romance prose work which popularized elegant, highly artificial and antithetical style of writing is titled? Option A, Rosalind. Option B, Euphues, or The Anatomy of Wit. Option C, The Unfortunate Traveler. Option D, Pendosto. So option B, Euphues. The Anatomy of Wit. B option is correct. Next question. Who wrote The Shoemaker's Holiday 1599? Lovely Elizabeth Citizen comedy celebrating the tradesmen of London. Option A Ben Jonson. Option B Thomas Dacre. Option C Thomas Haywood. Option D John Fletcher. So option B Thomas Dacre is correct. Next question. In what historical year did the English Parliament officially order the closing of all London theatres, ending the golden age of a Renaissance drama? So option A 1640, option B 1642, option C 1649, option D 1660. So option B is the 1642. Next question. John Milton wrote the epitaph on the admirable dramatic poet W. Shakespeare in 1630. It was published anonymously in which major volume? Option A Milton's juvenile poems. Option B second folio of a Shakespeare's play. Option C first folio. Option D Wit's recreations. So option B the second folio of a Shakespeare's play. Next question. Which major prose treatise did John Milton write in 1644 to passionately argue in a favor of a legality of a divorce? So option A Areopagitica, option B Doctrine and Discipline of a Divorce, option C Iconoclastes, option D of Education. So option B Doctrine and Discipline of a Divorce, this is the correct. Next question. Who wrote the monumental spiritual prose allegory The Pilgrim's Progress 1678 while imprisoned in Bedford County Jail? So option A Richard Baxter, option B John Bunyan, option C Jeremy Taylor, option D Thomas Brown. So option B John Bunyan is correct. Next question. So Thomas Brown's famous spiritual and philosophical masterpiece published in 1643 is titled Religio. Option A Medici, option C is the Lacy, option C Poetica, option D Clerici. So option A Medici is the correct. Next question. Who is the author of the Complete Angler 1653? Celebrate sorry celebrity prose work on the art and philosophy of fishing. So option A Thomas Fuller, option B Isaac Walton, option C John A. Valiant, option D Samuel Pepys. So option B Isaac Walton. Next question. Which Cavalier poet wrote the famous Epicurean poem to Virginians to make much of time, containing the line gather ye rosebirds while ye may? Option A Richard Lovelace, option B Robert Herrick, option C John Suckling, option D Thomas Carey. So option B Robert Herrick is correct. Next question. Andrew Marvel's brilliant metaphysical poem to his choir mistress is written using which structural poetic verse form? So option A blank verse, option B iambic pentameter couplets, option C heroic couplets, option D over rhyme. So option B iambic tetrameter couplets. Who authored the massive political and philosophical treatise Leviathan 1651, argued for strong centralized Savageian authority? Option A John Locke, option B Thomas Hobbes, option C Sir Francis Bacon, option D Robert Burton. So option B Thomas Hobbes is correct. Next question. Milton Paradise Lost, what is the name of the grand chaotic capital city built by the fallen angels in hell? So option A Pandemonium, option B Pandemonium. So Pandemonium is the option is the correct. Next question. Who is widely considered the first official poet laureate of England, appointed the king second in 1668? So option A Ben Jonson, option B John Dryden, option C Thomas Sadwell, option D Alexander Pope. So option B is the John Dryden is the correct. Next question is John Dryden's play All for Love 1677 is a regularized neoclassical adaptation of which famous tragedy by William Shakespeare? So option A is Julius Caesar, option B Antonio Cleopatra, or option C is the Romeo and Juliet, and option C Coriolanus. So option B Antonio Cleopatra. Next question. Which brilliant 18th century Irish satirist wrote a tale of a turban battle of the books? So option A Richard Brinsley Sheridan, option B Jonathan Swift, option C Oliver Goldsmith, option D Edmund Brock. So option B Jonathan Swift is correct. Next question, who wrote the highly successful mock heroic ballet opera The Beggar's Opera 1728, satirizing political corruption in London? So option A Alexander Pope, option B John Gay, option C is John Arbuthnot, option D William Hogarth. So option B John Gay. Next question, Alexander Pope's philosophical poem An Essay on Man is structurally written which using which verse format? So option A blank verse, option B heroic couplet, option C is a Shakespearean stanza, option D free verse. So option B heroic couplet. Which English author wrote the monumental historical multi-volume series The History of a Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire 1776? So option A David Hume, option B Edward Gibbon, option C Thomas Carlyle, option D Thomas Babington Macaulay. So option B Edward Gibbon. Next question is James Boswell is a universally celebrated in English literary history for a authoring and definitive biography of which major author? So option A Alexander Pope, option B Dr. Samuel Johnson, option C John Milton, option D Oliver Goldsmith. So option B Dr. Samuel Johnson. Next question, who wrote the highly sentimental groundbreaking 18th century epistolary novel Clarissa or The History of a Young Lady? So option A Henry Fielding, option B Samuel Richardson, option B Tobias Smollett, option D Lawrence Stern. So option B Samuel Richardson. Which novel by Lawrence Stern features a widely experimental structure design including blank pages, marbled salt and non-linear timeless? So option A Peregrine Pickle, option B Tristram Shandy, option C Joseph Henrys, option D Roderick Random. So option B Tristram Shandy. Next question, Fanny Burney was a major pioneering 18th century female novelist. Which of her epistolary novels paved the way for a Jane Austen style? Camilla, option B Evelina, option C Cecilia, option D the Wonder. So option B is the Evelina is the correct. Next question.